Welcome to the Twig translation tutorial. We are excited to welcome you. This is the first public rollout of Twig, and we have worked on a lot of prototypes. We are community run, so we'd love to have you as part of our leadership committee. If you're interested, please write to us at twigcare@gmail.com. Here's our landing page. Once you get past that, you will get started by filling in these fields. Fairly quickly on Twig, you will come to this page. So remember that on Twig, we not only ask you to write translations, but also to audio record them. We are hoping to match patients with an accent and dialect that is closest to them when they listen to their audio recordings. So here, you're going to pick your language. There are more than 7,000 choices. For example, we have more than 36 different kinds of Arabic. Be sure to choose your language well up here. And down here, I want you to associate your language with a place so that we can match it to patients. So, for example, I speak Italian with a Roman accent, so I've chosen Rome. Normally, this will be the place that you're from, but not necessarily. If you learned your language from a parent or from having lived in a place, you might tag that. It's up to you. After you select a language at Twig, we will need you to record an answer set. So the answer set to every question on Twig is the same. So you only need to do this one time. So I will need you to read these out. 1, yes. 2, I do not know, and so on. I do need you to read out the number, yeah? Once you're done with this, you're fine. Really quick. Twig offers more than 800 medical intake questions. If you'd like to add a question, you can do it just by emailing us. When you translate these questions, we ask that you have a vulnerable patient in mind. What this means in your language and culture is up to you to interpret. However, Twig prefers not to assume any particular educational level, literacy level, socioeconomic status, or history with medical technology or services on behalf of patients. We are also interested if you'd be interested in meeting up on Zoom. We'd be talking about patient issues, what it's like to practice in a foreign country, and what it's like to go to medical school in a foreign country. And that's all the medical professions, from doctors right on down to the allied professions. We're thinking about doing a monthly Zoom meetup in small groups. Please email if you're interested. So you will eventually get to this page, Translate. So here the question is, do you have any allergies? And another thing that makes Twig really, really special is this rephrase function. So we find that 20 to 30% of medical questions are not directly translatable into a second language. This could be a question like, do you have any allergies? Allergies can mean a lot of things in English. Are you having tummy trouble? There's a classic. Or do you take any over-the-counter medication? These are examples of questions that we understand what you mean in English, but they're very difficult to translate in a direct way into other languages. If you need to rephrase the question, and we'll talk about what that means in a minute, you can rephrase it by typing your rephrase in English here. So, do you have any allergies? You might want to change it to something like, do you have any strong reactions such as rash or swelling after eating food? Yeah, that might be how you change the question. Essentially, you're adding a new question. Yeah. So eventually in Twig, you will be asked to verify other people's translations. This is optional. Some users just verify, they don't translate. So here you'll see if the translation you're verifying is in text, audio, And video is only for signed languages, right? So you'll rate the translation, thumbs up or thumbs down. You can also skip questions. If you vote thumbs down, we are going to ask if the translation you've heard from a different translator is inaccurate, inappropriate, or incomplete. Super important and super helpful. If you like the quick tutorial, feel free to check out Language Barriers in Medical Care. It's on YouTube, and the PDF version is also on YouTube. It looks like this. Here are the topics covered, and if you're reading it on the PDF, here are the page numbers, and if you're watching it on video, here's the minute mark, so you can just look for a topic that interests you and go straight to it. Right now, I'm just going to go through the things in the presentation that are useful for translating for vulnerable patients on Twig. So here are those some examples of those questions that are difficult to translate from English into a second language. We have discovered that there are 3 techniques that translators use to better convey information: contextualization, contrasting, and specification. I'm not going to read these slides. I will just let you read them. I'm going to go through them and just leave about 7 seconds for each slide. If you need to, pause. Okay, another problem that translators have are Latin words. So here are some Latinisms, and here's a plain language translation. When possible on Twig, we prefer to use plain language and avoid Latin wherever possible. Words imported from other languages can be difficult for patients to understand. Here are some examples. They are correct in a second language. They've been imported from English, but a patient might not know what they mean. Acronyms, COPD, EKG, MRI. This might be up to you to decide how to translate this so a patient can understand it. Words for pain. So, if you go to the YouTube link in the description, you'll see that you can download that PDF again. And we are a purpose-driven, community-led organization. That's a way of saying that we are a wiki that is run by you. You can imagine that if we have 7,000 languages and we also need our translations verified, we need a ton of people to make this work. That isn't to say that everyone has to translate 800 sentences. No. We're happy to have people just give what they can. But we also need to get the word out there. So we have these printable posters. By posters, I mean that you can just print them up on normal printer paper, like A4, 8.5 by 11. Here they are. Also eminently shareable on social media. Although we would just prefer that you tell 2 bilingual professionals in the medical fields about us. Yeah, that's good too. We'll take word of mouth. Here are our printable posters. You might even be able to screenshot them here and print them if you'd like. Different messages. We'd really love for you to post these where other medical professionals can see it. So that could be a coffee room, break room, corkboard. If you're a student, this could be, dorm or a student area. We love students. And again, that's everyone from doctors right down to all of the allied medical professions. Now is the part where I tell you that Twig is a charity registered in the United Kingdom. Here's our charity number. We do gratefully accept donations. All donations go to our coding team who develop this product all over the world, and they really do think a lot about bilingual patients. Here's our bank transfer number, our PayPal, but more than that, here's our email address if you need anything else. We are super interested in your experiences, your working experiences, your study experiences, experiences of patients like you, their needs, and also the PDF that I have just outlined is very editable if you want to chop it up to suit your purposes and present it to non-bilingual medical professionals. I thank you, and if you need anything, just write us an email.